Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of Arizona NORML. And with us today, we've got John Udell, who is actually the Communications Director for Arizona NORML. And John, I'd love for you to give a brief little introduction to yourself, and then I'd love to hear a little bit more about what brought you in.
Sure. I'm John Udell. I'm an attorney with Rose Law Group. My practice touches on cannabis law. As Ryan said, I'm also the communications director with Arizona NORML. Fighting hard to get Prop 207 passed and leave us a more just system of drug laws in the state of Arizona. So with that, I'll share a little bit about my personal history and kind of what led me into this fight. So it dates back many years. When I was a kid, back probably I'd say back to high school, certainly in college, I had all these like weird stomach problems that I would go to a doctor for, and I would tell them, I'm having all these issues, I'm having all this bloating and, discomfort. And they just kind of told me, oh, it's nothing, don't worry about it, it's probably all in your head. So then flash forward a handful of years. Now I'm in law school. It's my summer after my second year. I have my first real law job I'm super excited for, working at a personal injury firm out in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to Torgenson Law. This entire summer, like my stomach was just getting worse and worse and worse. It had been kind of flaring up in the year I just finished in law school, but it had gotten to the point where it was just, incredible pain. I'd wake up every morning and go to the bathroom and nearly like black out from just, the pain of everything. But it was my first job and first law job. I was really excited for it. So I'm like, I'm just going to push through. It's probably stress, it's all in my head. Like these doctors have been telling me for years and years. So I pushed through. Ultimately, I finished the summer, and then I went to see my grandparents after the job concluded, and they were just like, "You've got to go see a doctor. This is not good. It's not in your head. I can tell something's off." So I go to the doctor's office, and they tell me, so have you ever heard of Crohn's disease before? And being a millennial, I guess technically, I'm familiar with Google and Googling all of my health symptoms. So I was like, well, it's funny you say that because yeah, I'd kind of self-diagnosed myself with this and just convinced myself that, that wasn't it. But yes, I'm familiar. So they did some more tests. They found out that I did in fact have Crohn's disease. So they wanted to put me on this pretty serious pharmaceutical involving manufactured like rat antibodies and stuff. But it's kind of dangerous. So I had still a several month period before I could get on this drug that was being prescribed to me. And meanwhile, my symptoms are just as bad as they've ever been. I was forced to withdraw from law school. I'm spending like every night just lying in bed trying to get to sleep. And I realized, there's a medical marijuana program in Arizona, and it works. It's you can, with Crohn's disease, you can get a card. So I went out, I got a card, started using medical marijuana, and I was frankly, blown away by how effective it was for me. Not that it, not going to lie, it didn't totally resolve all of my symptoms, but it gave me a lot of peace of mind. It helped me sleep and get back to like some semblance of normalcy. And my experience with that, not only was positive in the sense that it helped a lot with my symptoms, but it was also positive in the sense that I've been kind of hearing about medical marijuana and like all of the supposed things it can remedy. And I was frankly a little bit skeptical, but this just showed me, this experience blew up so many different stereotypes that I've been hearing over the years. So ultimately, I was able to get on this other drug, but still continued to supplement with medical marijuana. It took a little while for this other thing to become effective. So found myself got back into law school. I was part of a competition team for Arizona State that kind of traveled around and competed in, I should say, in regional competitions. Ultimately, made it to international rounds. And I eventually, while using medical marijuana, was named a top speaker at this competition. And that just shattered so many different stereotypes that, in my mind that I'd always been hearing. And not just in my mind, frankly, but in my parents' minds too, who had been kind of giving me flack for this. And I was like, hey, Mom, you can't really be that mad now. Look at you. I'm showing you that I can still succeed in school. I can still be a contributing member of society, despite the fact that I use medical marijuana to help with my medical symptoms. So it really blew up a lot of stereotypes and turned me on to all the wonderful things that medical marijuana can do. And, of course, we're lucky here in Arizona that we have a program like that. But, it still takes time to get registered for the card. You got to go see a doctor. You've got to wait for ADHS to approve you. So there's still, I think, a lot to be said. The medical benefits that Prop 207 could allow. I don't have to go and spend that time and going out to the doctor. I can get medicated as soon as I need to get medicated, as soon as a problem pops up. So in my mind, that's one of the many reasons that we should be passing Prop 207 this November.
Yeah, so that's an awesome story, and I think there's a lot of people out there that have similar experiences, but they're almost scared to admit it, or scared to, even attempt to try medical marijuana. And I know that's not really the whole purpose of this, but the thing I'd like to talk about, John, is how things differ, or how things are going to change, once Prop 207 passes here in November. What does that look like for the medical patients? Is it still a benefit for medical to be for people to go get their card? What does that look like?
Sure. So the big takeaway here is that Prop 207 does not change the medical program. You'll still be able to get cannabis the same tax rate that you're paying for it right now. You'll still be able to get high potency stuff. And again, as someone who had a really serious condition back in the day and really benefited from cannabis, I think that's a pretty important point. Sometimes that high potency stuff for people with serious medical conditions can really give a lot of benefits. So more specifically, what Prop 207 will do is it will create a dual track program. People that have dispensaries that have licenses right now will not just give up their dispensary license. They'll become what's called a dual licensee, meaning they can still participate in the medical marijuana program while also participating in the recreational marijuana program. So that means that although they'll have to sell these lower potency edibles, 10 milligrams per dose, a maximum of 100 milligrams per package, to recreational users, they will still be able to sell these high potency products to people with a medical card and a valid medical need. So in some senses, you really get the best of both worlds with Prop 207.
That's good to know. So, are they going to have? I know in Vegas they've done things where it's like you've got one line that goes over to the medical side, or maybe it was another state I was at. I don't know. I know that some states handle this extremely different. So putting that infrastructure in place, to handle the recreational market or the adult use markets, right? That's going to take a little bit of time to get going and really ramped up. I would think, right? So then actually doing this dual license with the existing dispensaries is, it sounds to me like a situation where we'll be able to get up and running for the adult use markets, a lot quicker than if we were trying to institute it, without any of that infrastructure already in place.
Yeah, I think that's 100% correct. To your point about what exactly it will look like in terms of separate lines and all of that, a lot of that is going to be left to be sorted out after the election, assuming Prop 207 passes. And that's kind of comparable to how the medical program worked. There was a law that was enacted by the voters, and then that law gave a lot of authority to the Department of Health Services to determine the specifics of how it was going to be implemented. And that goes to show that the fight's not going to end on election day if Prop 207 passes. There's going to be a lot of hard work to do for us, for all of our supporters, for everyone who's listening, to make sure that DHS enacts regulations, adopts regulations that are sensible and meet the goals of the law. So the specifics are going to be a little bit left to be determined. We're going to be certainly fighting the fight every step of the way to try to make sure it's done well. And to your other point, I think there are definitely some benefits to doing it the way we're doing it now. We've got dispensaries that have expertise. They have credibility, I think, largely in many communities too. Back in when people were voting on the medical marijuana program, there was all this talk. And we're hearing a lot of the same arguments that we're hearing now. If dispensaries open in my neighborhood, there's going to be a huge influx of crime, and there's going to be all these armed robberies and everything. And I think a lot of Arizonans have wisened up to that. They've seen what's happened over the last 10 years. None of that's occurred. So I think there's, amongst the moderates, there's some trust in the dispensaries, and it'll give people some peace of mind that this will be implemented in a sensible and a smart and safe way, for lack of a better term.
Well, thank you very much, John. I appreciate your time here today. And, thank you very much for volunteering and working with us over here at Arizona NORML. It's people like you that, really give us the drive and, help move it forward for everyone else as well. So anyone that's interested in putting in a little bit of time, volunteering, trying to help, make this whole thing come together with a way that's going to be beneficial for everyone involved, put your name in, give us a call. In fact, we've got a new toll-free number here that we've gotten set up here. It's 877-AZ-NORML. 877-296-6765. If you have questions, call, leave us a voicemail, and we'll get back to you. We've been doing really good at getting back and responding to people on this. Any questions regarding Prop 207, give us a call. We're here. If you'd like to volunteer, give us a call. We've also got a page up on our website, for volunteers. If you'd like to come in and, actually submit your name, to be contacted. We've got some volunteer opportunities, but it's regular people that are making the difference out there. And it's not just the stoner community. It's not just the pothead community. It's everyone that's affected here with Prop 207. There's a lot of other things that are included in Prop 207 that are extremely beneficial for the community, the population of Arizona, everyone. So if you have any questions, we're here. Give us a call. Thank you again, John, for your time here today. And thank you once again for all your help here with Arizona NORML. Everyone have a beautiful day.